Hey everybody, Steve Gamache back with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And what we have this time is the Kohetsu Shitogami R White number 2 Santoku 165mm knife. So this knife has 3 layers in the construction. The center hardcore cutting edge steel is Shitogami white paper number 2 reactive high carbon steel. Heat treats typically about 62 Rockwell with that. These have a soft iron, reactive iron cladding on either side of that hard core steel for a 3-layer construction. It looks like the cladding does not cover the spine, so you got the layers there. The cladding is reactive, the core steel is reactive, so there's no stainless or semi-stainless on here. They do put a blacksmith, what's known as a Kohetsu finish or KU finish on part of the blade until you get down to the grind, which comes down to the edge. And this is kind of a sandblasted kind of faux Kasumi finish here, but you can definitely see where the core steel peeks out. And you can totally see where the grind kicks off down towards the edge from the blade flats because of that line. So that's pretty much the geometry of that and the grinds on it. The weight and dimensions on these will vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 125 grams or 4.4 ounces. Edge length is right about 170 or 6.7 inches. The overall length about 308 millimeters or about 12 inches. These are fairly thick coming out of the handle, but then they thin out pretty quickly. So I got about 3.5, 3.6 millimeters. You can see it's a little thicker coming out of the handle back here. And then it went down to like 1.7 here. And pretty much just holds that all the way down until you get to the grind right there. And then as you can see, get our camera going here. As you can see, it gets pretty, it's not wafer wispy thin, but it's pretty thin at the tip. And then here's what the choil shot looks like. Every knife will be a little different. These have decent grinds on them. They're pretty straight on the blades. Fairly thin at the tip, thin at the edge, reasonably thin. So it should be a pretty good performer. They're interesting looking. Let's see here. The overall length, we covered that. Spine thickness, blade height, 48.8, about 49 millimeters at the heel, so pretty tall. And the handle is an octagonal ambidextrous. This one is an interesting handle. It's pretty cool looking, actually. It's unusual, but they're made out of walnut with a black pack of wood, which is a stabilized wood product, ferrule. It says nice fit and finish on it. Looks like the tang has a bit of a gap at the top. It's glued in there nicely, but you may want to seal this up really well with something just to kind of keep any moisture out of there. The handle's fairly light, which is good, so that brings the balance point a little bit further forward than it would be otherwise with a heavier handle or longer handle. So the balance point on this particular one is right about there. It's not as light as like Howood would be. So the balance point's behind a pinch grip, but you do have a pretty generous neck here, at least on this sample, and into the choil, into the neck, so there's a good spot for your finger there for a pinch grip. Let's get our beauty shot here for our video cover. Let's see what we can do here. And so this has a Kohetsu finish with just kind of a hand made aesthetic to it, and every knife's going to be a little different. We got some grind marks back here. We got some kind of mottled finish, almost a Nashiji kind of pear skin type finish on it. Fairly smooth. You've got some embossed kanji on the right side of the blade as you'd be holding it. And then on the left side of the blade, again, every knife's going to be a little unique. That's what's really cool about these. You can see some texture. It's actually pretty darn smooth. It's smoother. It's much smoother than it looks like it would be. And in terms of fit and finish, they did a good job. They pulled a little bit of the edges off the corners of the spine, and they pulled a little bit off the choil into the neck, so it's pretty comfortable. I'd say the out-of-box edge on this is about 6 out of 10 on my scale, so it had a pretty nice edge on it, but you can definitely get this Shitogami number 2 stinking sharp if you do your part, not a problem. The edge profile can vary just a little bit from individual knife to knife, but this is what the general profile for this maker should probably look like. And you can see it's fairly curvy. There's not a real flat spot, and that makes it rock up in there for the tip wants to dig in. So that means I can rock this pretty well. It's pretty short, so you'll have to kind of pump the handle up and down more than you would with a longer knife, but You can see it's pretty curvy, so this is not going to be like a serious chopper, but push-pull cuts, glide cuts, you could definitely do some draw cuts with that tip, and a little bit of rocking, kind of medium-low rocking, not a problem. So it's a pretty cool blade. It's super easy to sharpen. It'll take a nice patina over time. Just got to make sure you keep it clean and dry when you're done using it. Don't let it sit wet. And once these get a patina, it's not like you look at it and it's going to rust. You just have to use it, clean it up right when you're done, and dry it off really well, and put it away, and you're good to go. It's not that bad. So this is the Kohetsu Shidogami, our white paper number 2, Santoku 165mm knife.